going on, everyone? Welcome back to Topher's Garage. So today I got the Jeep in here and we're going to be working on some DIY sway bar disconnects. So let's take a look at it. So I'm working on this. The first thing I'm going to do is get the wheels and tires off the Jeep and get the stock sway bar end links removed. That's what we're going to use. We're going to take those off, cut them up, and get to installing some parts to make them quick disconnects. So let's get going. All right, so we got the wheels and tires off. We've got one bolt up here. It's got a 3/4 inch nut on the back, and then one down here, 3/4 inch nut also. So these look like they're pretty corroded. I hope they come off without anything breaking, but we'll go ahead and give that a shot. All right, so I tried hammering the sway bar end links off, was not successful. So I'm just gonna remove the sway bar here and pull it out and see if I can't figure this out on the workbench. So there's two 9/16 bolts here and then one back here. And then there's two more on this side holding it in. So we'll get those out and then get the sway bar out entirely and see if we can't get the end links off. All right, so there's the sway bar out. One thing I had to do was jack up this side of the Jeep to make a little bit more room here. When the weight's on it, this gap between the leaf spring and the frame is pretty small, so it made it a little difficult. But I was able to jack that side up, and then I folded the end links up and was able to fish it out and underneath the car. So now we'll get to trying to get the end links removed. So I got a new set of bushings for the sway bars, so I'm gonna go ahead and drive these, I don't know, bolts out. They're not really bolts, but the threaded part. That's all it is. So what I'm doing is just cutting the bushings in half, so I can kind of fold them up a little bit and push them through. The new style bushings are just like a split bushing. Let's see, it's each half of it, so it should be a little easier going back in. All right, so we got the end links, the bushings are the end links, so I'm just gonna quickly clean these up with the wire wheel, and then we'll move on. All right, so here's what we got. I got these kind of cleaned up a little bit better. I'll paint these before I put them back on the Jeep, so we'll get them cleaned up a little bit more. But the idea is I'm gonna kind of cut these in half, probably right around where these two bends are. Take this center section out, and then I've got this pretty beefy tube here. It's 1/8 wall tubing that will then slide over each half of that, and we'll weld on one half and the other half will be pinned, and that will be our quick disconnect. So we'll get to cutting these sway bar links up. and then keep going with it. So what I'm doing here is just lining the cut pieces up with the current one just to get the right length. And then we'll measure, leaving an inch gap on each side. So we need about 5 inches of this tubing. So we'll get that cut. All right, so I'm gonna lay these out and get the correct 9 1/4 inches from outside to outside with these eyelets. And then what we'll do is we'll get one end welded up, and then we'll drill the other end for the pin that we're gonna use. All right, so got this eyelet spaced in here where I want it. I'm just using some little nails to space it evenly within that tube. I'm gonna tack it up real quick, and then we'll finish weld it here in a little bit. So we'll get that tacked, and then we'll start taking a look at where we're going to drill the hole at the other end. And then, like I said, we'll finish weld it later. So let's get going. All right, so how I'm going to drill holes through this, I don't have a drill press. But I want to make sure I'm getting my holes perfectly in the center of the tube. So I know this tube is 7/8 inch diameter. So that gives a circumference of 2.75 inches. So what I did is I took a piece of tape and I drew 2 lines, half the diameter or half the circumference apart. So 1 3/8. So when you wrap that tape around, so you 1 line there, and then on the other side, you've got the other line. So in theory, this should be pretty close to centered up. So I'm gonna drill the holes probably about 3/4 of an inch back from the front of this tube. So I'll center punch those holes, and then we'll get to drilling them. So we got this side drilled out, but now we're going to get this end drilled out. This one's going to be a little trickier. We can't drill from both sides. We're going to kind of have to just do our best to go straight through this, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so we got the first one tacked up and drilled together with the pin in it, so you can kind of see how it's going to work. So we'll get started on the next one. All right, so my camera died, but I got these welded up. You can see, got them hit with a coat of paint. So we'll get to installing them back in the Jeep. We got new bushes for each of the eyelets. So they go in there like that. And we'll get them installed back in the Jeep, and then we'll test them out. right, so I got the sway bar end links installed. You can see the pins here. So we'll get this outside and we'll test, flex with the sway bars still installed or the end links still installed. And then we'll disconnect them and we'll do the same test. So let's take a look at how big of a difference this makes. Alright, so I got the sway bars disconnected. You can see kind of got them pushed up out of the way on both sides. So now we'll do the same test and see how much more push we get. Alright, so I know that quick video I did may not exactly show the benefits of the sway bar disconnects, but one thing you could seriously tell in the cab was how level the Jeep was. With the sway bars disconnected, the body stayed a lot more level. But if you like the video, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments about this modification, please let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you, and we'll see you in the next one.